it. Loading up. Okay, you guys are good.
Hey guys, Dr. Charlie Webb here. You are watching Wake Up with Webb, living consciously. Man, there's never been a more important time in my life and what we see out there with these crazy times. Man, we really do have to step out of the matrix, so to speak, and think consciously, be aware of really what's going on. And at the same time, with all this stuff going on, be conscious in our own lives, our own environment, how we're impacting the people's lives. And I have someone here this afternoon, Dr. Danite Haller, that certainly is living consciously, and in turn, she is impacting a ton of people's lives. And she's got some great stories. As you know, I always like to bring people on that have faced, we all face challenges, but there are many of us that face these as opportunities and have matured in that over time to look at challenges as opportunities and know that they can empower us. And Denise's some really, really good stuff, some good work around the country. She's working virtual now. So we'll talk about if you're a layperson looking for, you know, a functional medicine type of practitioner, wellness type of approach. We'll talk about how you can get in touch with her later. And I know there's a lot of professionals on, there's a lot of doctors on. So no matter where your background is, this is, again, it's about taking life, living it to its fullest, adding significance, living consciously. So Danite, thank you so much for taking time out on this beautiful day. I know it's beautiful in Phoenix.
Yep.
You said the sun is shining. I can see,
Yep.
You must have a window next to you. I can see, there you, okay. I can see natural light coming in. But thank you for taking time to be here. We're going to be talking a little bit about, you know, over the last year with these challenges as a doctor, how did you get through this? How did it impact your practice as a wife, all the other things that we are?
Absolutely.
How did this go through? We're going to talk a little bit about, you know, letting go when some of these struggles hit us, and how sometimes that can be one of the best things we do. But why don't you tell the audience just a little bit about you? You know, we met quite a long time ago. You've been with us. I've seen you grow just tremendously. What a blessing to know
4
you.
years, like 4 or 5 years, maybe. Yeah. So, well, I am a naturopathic physician here in Arizona, and my husband and I are actually business partners as well. He's a physician as well, and we've built. This is our third baby, our practice. We have 2 boys, 14 and 10, and the business is truly our third baby. We poured our heart and souls into it. We're super passionate about the medicine, about the philosophies of naturopathic medicine and the power that this approach can have. And then we were thrown into having to build a business around that passion. And the first several years was just fueled by being in love with the medicine and seeing the results and connecting with people and getting solutions and seeing people really get answers with conditions and ailments that they were told there's really nothing that can be done for them. And that was so fulfilling. And for so many years, we were just honing in our craft and being fueled by the medicine. And you know, several years in, I don't know, 8, 9 years in, we just were like, shouldn't we be making money? Like, we're working our butts off. We're doing great work. Like, hold on, why are we still skimming? And that point, you know, that was a major decision in our practice to change the model. And we knew the delivery of care that we had developed and what we learned really worked to have an impact in people's lives, really lent itself to bundling services, packages, programs, something that was different than fee for service. We were very clear that fee for service was not only not working, but getting in the way. So that's how we found, you know, FPC, which has just been, you know, the whole thing has blown up since we made the leap to bring on help. And FPC was just lock and key what we needed. I mean, from top to bottom, it was so life-changing for us, because, you know, this business is everything to us. It's our whole livelihood. It's the only source of income to our family. And it's when it is successful, when it is thriving, when it is in ease, when it is in flow and is abundant, we feel that to the depths of ourselves. So that's been a major pivot in our lives. And then there's been lots of twists and turns with that, obviously COVID being one of them, but my life is a balance of these major roles. And my work is to find that sweet spot of what balance is. And that's a moving target, I've learned. I am a mother, and I take that role very seriously. It's one that I take to heart and really want to be present with my boys. They still really love me. They still want to hang out with me. They're still young enough to want to spend time with me. So I want to eat that up before they're too cool for me. I do run my household. I run this business. I am the CEO. So I'm the head of, the high level operations. And then I'm a physician. So a lot of my growth is around how to be who I need to be in all of those roles and not lose my center, my well-being, my health. And I've missed the mark over the years. And I've done those roles successfully at the cost of my health in the past. And I'm not committed to that anymore. So I've learned a lot about how to have it all. It's not okay, to have these high standards in all of these roles and be at the cost of me, because that's not sustainable. So I can go into that wherever you want, but that's kind of high level what
I'm glad you brought this point up, because what I've seen you do, again, I've seen you go through a similar metamorphosis that I did when I realized, no, my life and my purpose comes first. And yes, the business is going to help with that, but I'm going to design the business around my lifestyle. And that's what we do. But I saw it happen with you. And what you said is that's what comes first. You're not going to compromise that. And what's impressive, and I want people to really hear me here, you didn't compromise it going through the challenges of 2020 either. And this is what a professional does. This is when we get to that conscious level of recognizing that in this last year, you had challenges. I had challenges. Everyone had challenges. And the year before, people had challenges. Next year, people had challenges. And we don't compromise and find justification to compromise because of those. Mindy and I live this life of we don't compromise. Whatever the situation is, the things that we do, the vacations we take, the time we spend with each other in the gym, all those doesn't get compromised. I might have to continue to mold, to go through the fire in a certain place, to handle a challenge a different way. But we don't first say, okay, here's a tough situation. It's COVID. I expect that my practice is going to come down a little bit. So we're not going to take a vacation this year. We don't do that. You don't do that. And in fact,
the more of a seasoned entrepreneur I become, I've learned that being an entrepreneur is all about how do you handle the challenge. And there's nonstop. I mean, now it's COVID. When they hit, it's the first reaction is like, oh God, is this it? Is this where everything goes to crap? And is this where we lose it all? It's like a minute. And then what I'm learning, the longer I've been in this game, that clutch doesn't last as long. I come out of it much faster.
You don't have the luxury.
I'm going to thrive. I'm going to survive. I'm going to adjust. I'm going to pivot. Like, what's the game plan? What's the play? Because failure is not an option. So COVID was no different because we've been through so many. And in the beginning, the clutch was like griefy and days, and it was devastating. And now it's like, I don't know, at a couple hours, because I got it. Like, we've done this a million times. What's the play? And for us, I don't know if you feel this way, Charlie. Well, you use these words, COVID, it really provided an opportunity to step out of the matrix. I love the way you said that, because I didn't have words for it. But to me, COVID, to us, to my husband and I, it almost stopped time. It broke the patterning. We were just like, time to make the donuts a little bit. You just get into the groove and it's all good, but is it great? Is it as good as it can be? Is it innovative? Is it really in alignment with your 10-year plan? And COVID allowed a break in the matrix where we got to reevaluate things that we didn't think were negotiable, things that we didn't think were reevaluatable. All of a sudden, we're home, we're virtual, it's working. All of a sudden, my husband realizes, wow, patient care isn't my passion 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. I want to write. Okay, what does that look like? And there's a million little examples, but the gift of COVID, which I know is hard to say because it's been devastating for so many people in so many ways, but the gift is that break in the matrix that allowed us to think differently, think bigger, and everything opened up. And our business, we took that opportunity,
Yeah.
and our business has is a whole nother level of high functioning and flexibility and effectiveness. Results even keep going up the more we make those adjustments.
I want to go through some of the things that you did so people can relate, but it's not just in practice, it's in life. And again, guys, you're watching Wake Up with Webb, living consciously, accepting challenges, looking at challenges as opportunities, knowing that they're always molding us. They're always empowering us to be able to live each day more fully. And what you saw, and you say the gift of, because everyone, I don't care where you are, there is always, we have a choice to look at things of, oh, woe is me. And again,
Oh yeah.
there is some been devastation, and I'm not downplaying that. I'm not downplaying that.
Yeah.
But the majority of us have seen things. People are waking up. I need to take better care of myself.
Yes.
That's a gift. It was a reminder. Hey, there's a gift here out of this, guys. I need to take better care of myself, right? I need to make certain my parents are more aware. I haven't talked to them as much about their health. It's time for me to. You don't even have to be a doctor. You can, right? You saw things as, I thought that this was just the way it was. And there's a whole nother reality or realm to live in. And you stepped out of the box, even though the box was good, but now you stepped out into a higher plane, out of the matrix, into this new deal. So again, tell us a few things that as it impacted you, what are the things that you saw that going through this time of the challenge, instead of fighting it, you let go? What's that? What do you mean by that?
Oh, wow. There's a lot there. Well, okay. What you're asking right now is an awareness I've had where, you know how sometimes your blessings can be your curse, and like your gifts can help you, and then at some point they hurt you. For me, I'm very driven, I'm tenacious. I feel like whatever I want, I can just go make it happen. I'm a hard worker and I can go do it. And that was my MO for so many years. I would just almost force things into the direction I thought was right. And that leads to, some benefit. But what I learned is that it's limiting. And if I grip something too tightly and put it in one direction that I think it needs to go, I'm not allowing other forces at hand to guide or to show up or have those miracles of life happen. So there's like a mid-level tension I put on things now. I've let go some, or sometimes I would just stop and I would work on a problem and like ridiculously just chew on it. And sometimes the answer is just surrender it. Let it go. Okay, here it is. Get clear on what you want, but how it's going to happen, let it show up a little bit. There's a mid-level tension to put on the things I'm creating now in my business and in my life, where my job is to be very clear. Like, I'm the lighthouse. Okay. My job is the visionary, is the lighthouse. Okay. I know I want to move in this direction, and I'm going to put some action towards it. It's not like you sit on the couch and eat potato chips and decide what you want. There's some action, but there's also some allowing of things to show up and surrendering the how. And it's been unbelievable, Charlie. I mean, the things that have shown up. And so this is why I'm so much less stressed, because the old model put me in chronic fatigue syndrome, making everything happen, working so hard and forcing things, put me into chronic fatigue, and that's not okay.
Yeah.
And so now I've shifted my way of being in that a little bit, where I'm allowing, there's forces greater than us. There's other people. There's so many miracles in this world. And it's been unbelievable. So I've never, and there's another coupling to that. Did you want to say something? Because there's one other thing.
You say, again, you say things that are important. I don't want people to forget about this.
Yeah.
One, I take some action. No, you take action regularly. That's part of who you are now. It's your DNA. You're acting, you're being a good steward of life in every way. You're acting on your business. You're acting on your personal health. You're acting in your measures. So I want people to be clear. That doesn't mean you're doing something that you don't want to do. It doesn't mean, like when people talk about work, I love being here right now. You can call it work. I don't want to be anywhere any different now than talking to Danite. This is part of my living. This is going to fulfill my day, right? So we do action. The things that show up in our life, you mentioned, I see these things showing up. Here's what I want people to understand. They're always showing up if you'll be quiet. They're always showing up if you will just get out of your own way and quit forcing it. That doesn't mean you stop action.
Right.
It means that you act with relaxation, with trust, and then notice what's going on.
Yes.
Be clear, because that means there's no anxiousness in your life. If I'm clear and I'm in this present moment and I'm at peace, like right now, I'm doing this event with you. Why are we doing this? I want to impact other people. Am I impacting other people? I think so. And we know in time that this has been, but when I first started this was an action that also was part of just my purpose of getting out there. Now, does this mean that this will fall in to a place in the future that, oh my God, those actions really expanded things in the business, everything else? Perhaps, perhaps not. But right now, it's good, positive action. And you're impacting people right now. I'm impacting people, but I'm open and I'm listening and I'm seeing what direction should this go. I'm not going to force this.
And life is so much more enjoyable in this model because I have more peace. Because the other way, I was some anxiety and tension and I was consumed. And when you're consumed, you're not present. And in being present, all the opportunities are in the present moment. So it's been a really profound shift for me in my life through spiritual work and personal development work, and just realizing that despite my best intentions, I thought I was doing a good job or doing it right, but I wasn't. It was exhausting. And I was a shell of a woman at the end of the day. And I'm like, that's not sustainable. I have a whole life ahead of me of this. This is what I love. Like, I'm doing this the rest of my life. I need to find a new way to sit in it. So I love that you get what I'm saying. It's been profound. It's been profound. So now at first it was to make money, right? Like, it's okay to be profitable when you're doing great work for people, you're changing lives. There has to be this exchange of energy, and the business isn't a successful business if it's not having profit. So that was great, but then I wanted some time. So the profits got there, and now I'm like, this is my life. I want time. I have to reinvest in me to be who I need to be for everybody. And so my spiritual practice, my exercise, my meditation, my time away with my girlfriends, with my husband, those things fuel me in a way that I come back and my doctoring is better. My team building is better. I'm a much better leader. And that was counterintuitive a little bit, but now it's not it's not luxury. It's not luxury. It's literally putting gas in the
Yeah, this is especially as number one, I can't imagine going through my life without placing my health where I have. I mean, as every year passes, I don't freak out, right? I really enjoy health. And so because I have that, if other things shift a little bit, like money, okay, it's not my prime. And when it's not the prime, it has a tendency to keep moving up, if you know what I mean. But it's okay for people listening. Look, it's okay. Like when you're in a position and financial hardship is there, or it's weighing on you and your family, is it okay to place focus on that? Yes, it's the normal thing to do. It's kind of like we always talk about, hey, let's stabilize your fort. Okay, that's going to take some time. You will have to sacrifice some time and activities and all of that. But you did that. You solidified your fort. You had profit coming in, and then you said, "Charlie, the system's working. I've made profit now. Okay, stage 2. You got a fort now. Stage 2. Free up your time and start building the life." But yes, we do have to kind of have priorities.
Yeah.
And that means if you're an entrepreneur, that means, yes, you can't have it all day one. You can't have all your freedoms, and you do have to say, hey, over the next 12 months, guys, husband, kids, I'm going to be dedicated to this, help mom. And then when I get to this point, we're going to have more freedoms than we ever would in our entire life because I put my time where it needed
I
to be.
agree. Here's another benefit that I think is so important. I mean, that's the primary benefit is what we just talked about, but there's a principle in naturopathic medicine. One of our principles is physician, heal thyself. And the other thing that this time allows for my husband and I is, you can't take someone where you haven't been.
No?
So the more we walk the walk, practice, develop our deeper, not understanding from a book, but experience from experience of a new way of exercising, meditating, eating, growing our own food, whatever it is we're doing, we can now infuse our programs and bring another level of information, experience, and confidence to our community, our members, and they get more benefit. So it really helps me feel, of course, not guilty for taking the time, but that I'm doing it for the collective in a way, because if I'm not living it, I can't help people, and I can only deepen their understanding of the potential of self-healing through my experience.
Yeah, I've always told people, and I was this way, you can't ask someone to do something, I guess through
Not
your,
authentically.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you're
Yeah.
not doing it, and what I found, it is not simply, some people do think that, well, if I take time out for myself, that's a luxury. No, it drives your life. It drives your life.
Yes.
And what I found, it took me a lot of years to grow up, and I've matured and matured and matured. And, the more that I've become content with my being and living presently and full of gratitude,
Yes.
and not worry about expectations of others or anything else so much, it becomes extremely attractive. And my business has grown. My relationships with my clients have gotten better and better, and they do better. It's just like you said, let go. Don't take life so seriously, but be a good steward of it. Take extreme ownership and add significance. And all those things happen better and better and better if you're not taking care of yourself. You might say, yeah, but I can put 50 hours a week in now. Well, that's 50 hours of wasted time instead of 30 hours of productive time, and this other time into personal health. It's just
harder, not harder.
It's work compared to productivity, right?
Yeah. So here, yes. And so as you're talking, I'm realizing there's another shift I've made recently that felt kind of scary, but has been hugely successful. And that, I think I read it in Millionaire Success Habits. I think you guys spoke about this too. And it's the idea, it's almost giving me permission to, as an entrepreneur, we're expected to, we have like literally needing 10,000 different skills, from technology to sales and marketing and, managing a team and creating your product and doctoring, like the skill set. It's just not, no one human can be good at all those things. And so in reading and learning about this concept of they was talking to entrepreneurs is giving permission to only do what I'm really, really, really good at and what I love. Like the parts of it, just cherry pick those things and delegate the rest. And it feels scary, because you're hiring more people. But if that's true, then what you do really, really, really well will be so productive and effective that you're not wasting time doing the crap you're not actually good at. So I did that, Charlie. I did it probably like 2.5 years ago. And for me, I'm like, okay, well, what is it, Danite? What do you love? Like, I'm doctor, I'm doing all these things. I'm like, I love inspiring people. I love the wake up conversation, which we call the PME. It's like the wake up. It's like, what are you gonna live your life? What's the next 10 years look like? What are you gonna do about it? Do you have a plan? Do you want one? What if we don't do this? What's gonna happen? And I really got to just focus on the marketing, the community education, the initial conversations, and my whole day became filled with the things I just loved. So, I don't look at my schedule like, oh, I have to do that. And the second part of that, which I'll let you speak to that, but the second part of that is building the team that can fill in the rest.
Yeah. You know, we've matured as a company, and as we talked before we got on, you know, at one time, we really did want our clients to know everything, and they still have that training, but we've shifted so much of the training to their team and said, like what you said, if you want to be highly, highly, highly successful, your number one job is to connect to people. That's the number one job. And that means in the pre-education process, the webinar, you know, where you're getting your message out.
Right.
And then, as you mentioned, for people who don't know what PME is, if you're a practitioner, the practice member eval, that's the interview consultation to whether that's going to be a fit or not. And by doing those well, you are going to grow your practice. You're going to spend the time in what you do best. And then your profits are going to be to a point where you can hire all the people you need to make your job easy and also provide the best possible experience for the patient, for the client. So it's a win-win when you know, have that courage to say, this is what I'm going to focus on. This is what's going to move my boat forward. This is what's going to get me up the mountain. And
Yeah.
these little things that are keeping me busy, those need to be delegated out to someone that's going to do those better than what I'm going to do.
But how do you know that? You know, one of the hundreds of most amazing things FPC did for us was really, I was very naive to this whole concept of these personal, like personality tests, the Colby or the DISC assessment, which I just never knew. You know, I was in medical school learning science, like I don't know this stuff. And okay, we'll try it. It was one of the most pivotal decisions we've made ever since understanding that people do fall into these types, and then you tailor their role to their strengths. Game change, Charlie. It was a game change. So I surround myself with implementers and researchers and perfectionists, because I ain't that. I'm like energy, emotion, I'm connected. I'm like, I see the vision, I have the quality, but then you want me to make an Excel spreadsheet and put it all, and I'm like, I don't know, that's not gonna happen, you know, or it's all gonna like look funny on paper. But I have created a team now that I have that understanding, and I've given myself the permission to only do the things that light me up. So I literally am excited every day to come to work. I'm like, oh, I get to do like the best parts of my job, it's the only parts of my job. But I surround myself with people who can really complete the loop, and that's their natural ability. And right now my team is humming, like they are all aligned. And there's two things I feel like I've learned have to be there for a team member to be this caliber. Because Eric and I made a promise to ourselves that anyone on our team is A+. We're not taking B+. They can't be good. They have to be like exceptional. And there's two things. One, they have to authentically be thrilled to be a part of this mission. They have to authentically be lit up by what we're doing to transform healthcare. You can't fake that. And two, they have to fit into the skill set of their job based on their natural gifts. So now we do DISC assessments in Colby, and we've made, you know, adjustments from one person from one role to the other, and it clicked. We were going to let her go. We're like, wait, according to our calculations, she would do better over here. We moved her.
That happens all the time, Danite. And since you brought it up, guys, Colby is Kolbe. I believe it's Colby.com.
Yeah.
It's an uncanny test, no matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your profession is or anything. It's an uncanny test. I highly recommend it. It's like, what, $99 or something. But get the test done. It'll help you understand your MO. Are you a fact finder? Are you an implementer? Are you a quick start? Very powerful. And you said something perfect. Sometimes the business owner or the practitioner is going to fire someone because they're not doing their job. And the challenge is, wait a minute, do you have them in the right place?
Yes.
And if you don't have them in the right place and you don't have that place, well, maybe they don't need to be there, but don't let them go because they're not doing the job they shouldn't be in. So this is taking extreme ownership as the owner. So get the Colby test done. It's very powerful. There's a couple of things I want to talk about before I let you go. You've made tremendous changes. This last year has only propelled you. I'm certain you got some pretty big hopes coming up for the next year. What do you see? Is there something that you guys have sat down and said, here's where we'd like to see things go in 2021? What's that look like?
We have lots of ideas. We have lots of dreams. We feel ultimately more than ever more called forth to educate the public with the state of the world and the state of our healthcare system and the poor state of health. My husband and I have really rooted down more, and we're like, it's now. If we have a big message and a big mission, there's no time. We're running out of time. You know, the earth is disintegrating, or the state of health of our country, but really the world collectively is poor, and it doesn't have to be that way. And we know too much. So we feel very called to educate on a bigger scale. So truly that means taking everything we do 100% virtual, and which we're close. We're actually close, and it's going really, really well.
You like that because it allows you to impact more people.
And the flexibility for people. They don't
Yeah.
have to drive. I mean, it's really the win-win. And then there's so much, technology has come so far. There's so much we can do, because so much of what we do is education, and then customizing that to each person through coaching and doctoring, and then using therapies that treat underlying causes to address the symptoms. So that's in general what we do. And so it's consulting. We're not doing IVs in office. We're not doing procedures. We're not doing hands-on stuff right now. Most of what we're doing is customized consulting, detective work, and then follow through and help, holding their hand along the way. So we can do that with people all over the world successfully.
So are you inviting people? Is it okay that I give your information out if they want to get in touch with you?
Absolutely, of course. So we really focus in chronic diseases, helping the body.
What's the best way to get a hold of you?
aznaturalhealth.com is our website.
AZ, like Arizona.
aznaturalhealth.com.
aznaturalhealth.com.
And there's a start now, and you can book a free 15-minute consultation with myself or a team member. It's super easy, just to have an initial conversation and see if we're a good fit, and if it's worth moving forward in our process. But yeah, chronic diseases, and using lifestyle medicine and safe non-toxic therapies to get the body into a state of healing.
If there is a practitioner that's out there and they don't like the space that they're in, they're wanting to do more of like what you do, would there be any opportunities? Is that the same place for someone to reach out to you?
Yeah. Yep. And there's a phone number on there, and you can always call the phone
guys.
if you need something.
I always like to finish with a really good story, and you impact a lot of people's lives. And is there anyone that maybe that you can think of that's come in recently, or someone's life, again, thank God that they found a practitioner like you, because of here's where they were, here's where they at. I love to hear stories.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. And we're doing inventory today, and all our health coaches are sitting around. They're like, oh, this person, oh, did you hear about this person? So, I mean, the most recent one, oh, there's so many. Okay, one man came in with the most horrific acid reflux, just the most horrible pain, and the massive amounts of Prilosec aren't working, to the point that his esophagus is rebounding with Schatzki's ring. It's a constriction as a rebound symptom. And so really he's coming in like, surgery is my only option. I really don't want to do it. I have no options. I'm losing hope. And he decided to move forward as a last ditch effort. He's like, I don't really know if I believe in this. I'm like, well, it's not a religion. You don't have to believe in it. You just got to do it. Okay. So it's the good news. But you got nothing to lose. And he followed our program. It's probably only 2.5 months in, and his acid reflux is completely gone. And he's going to do some follow-up imaging, but all the symptoms from the ring, he couldn't swallow. Food would regurgitate constantly, and that's not happening anymore. And just to think the direction change of his life, like getting to dodge a surgery that who knows how much it would have helped, or more issues. Right. And now his gut function is higher, and he's able to actually break down his food and get the nutrients out, and how that affects his future. I just wish I could have a crystal ball and show the crossroads of what would it, right? Don't you wish you could do that for people?
And there's so many people that have, they're on Prilosec, and today at least it's more known how damaging that can be. At one time it was just the safest. It was the best thing since a statin, which we know what happens to both of them. But anyway, I want to make people clear, this man didn't just have this discomfort. He had poor nutrition assimilation. He was not assimilating foods well, probably started having leaky gut, everything else from this damage that's going to age him, age his skin, up and down with
bones, his brain. I mean, yeah.
everything. This is a downhill deal, and there isn't a surgical procedure. There isn't one that exists that changes the reason that it started, the acid reflux. You might be able to open up the passage, but that's so. This is the only approach that actually works with the underlying situation and lets them step in and be part of those changes, and you empowered that person. So he'll never have to deal with that again. That's the difference.
And he now gets the power he has over his own health. That codependent model of I hope they can fix it versus I have the power. Oh, it's my choices, it's my behaviors. I'm not a sitting duck to my genetics. I mean, that's the most incredible awakening we can provide for people, is to give them their power back and to realize that they can be independent. Who wants to be codependent with anything?
No one. So if you're a layperson, this is it, and it's, I could go on and on with any kind of chronic condition, but if you're a physician and you know that this is something that you struggled with dealing with, more really wanting to help people, empower them as a coach, what would you tell doctors that are out there that are just, I know so many of them, I hear from them all the time, Danite, they're just like, I don't want to do this, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out of it, but can I do this? Is this something that I can do?
It's like what I tell our prospective patients who are like, but do I really want to change my lifestyle? But I really don't like the way I feel right now. It's like the discomfort of change. Is it less than the discomfort of staying in what's not working? Because the discomfort of change breeds an opportunity of better. The discomfort of staying in the known, like I know how to suffer like this. It's almost comfortable, like I know how to do it. There's no opportunity in it. The discomfort of change breeds possibility. There's a light at the end of that tunnel. So if you're going to be uncomfortable, why not go in the direction where there's possibility for better? It's scary as hell, but you got to think of the long game and how much we need, how desperate we are for doctors that are helping people on a deeper level. The world needs us now.
Yeah. Well, Danite, you are an absolute blessing. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for showing up today. I know that words are very powerful, but thanks for what you're doing. I can't wait to see what happens next year. And thanks for your message to other doctors out there. You're right. There's only about 6% of physicians practicing in this wellness, functional medicine, whatever you want to call it, lifestyle empowerment. And we need a lot more people. It's a lot of fun. Join us, man. We've got,
rewarding.
This is a good place to be. This is a good kind of way to practice. But anyway, thanks. Can't wait to see you again when we go live. Hopefully it's coming up soon in San Antonio. But
so nice. Thanks, Charlie, for having me. This was fun.
Got it. Tell Eric I said hi, and thanks for him for giving us your time and all that. All righty. So we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Danite.
Okay. Bye.